This is Gail. Novak was my maiden name. Frankovich. You might know me as a aunt or a cousin, but what is on this DVD is a series of 8-track home movies that were filmed sometime between 1953 and 1978. I found a box in my parents' basement while they were still living that had tons of film spools on it, and I took them to a friend and he put them on. At the time, the technology was VHS, so he put it all on a VHS tape, not in any order, because it was the point was to save it, and we figured at some point in the future we'd go through and put it in order. And once I saw it, it was like, no, I'm not even going to try. So it is grainy. There is no volume, but at least you get to see your grandparents, your great grandparents, in some cases your great great grandparents, your uncles and aunts in the same situation. So that's the idea of what this DVD is to give you an idea of the past, and it would be incredible to me to be able to see my great 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 grandparents. To give you a little idea of a family tree, I'm going to give you the two sides for my mom and my dad. So these are the people that could have been in the film, or at least who matches to who. Are on the McRee side, Renee Ernst married Richard Montgomery McRee. 1915, they had Richard Montgomery. He married Marion and had Brian, Elaine, and Alan. Divorced, and then with Chris, he had Monty Jr. You guys, I believe, are in there. They must have taken the camera with, because grandmother Reen would go to California occasionally. Now, Reen remarried to Roy Dorr, and he is also in there. So I always call him Roy, some of you call him Mumpa, but he is there as well. In 1923, my mom was born, Faye. She married my dad, Jim Novak. They had two children, my older brother Jim, who married Claudia Parr. They had Malia, Adam, and Corey. Claudia, Malia, and Adam did make the film. Corey, I'm sorry, babe, but I don't know what happened, but it stopped in, I'm going to say, August of 1978. So you didn't make the cut. Next, of course, is me. I was born in 1952, and the film looks like it started when I was about a year old. So my dad could have gotten it for Father's Day gift, is what it looks like. I married John Frankovich, and Andrew is in it in some parts as well. Then Sharon is the last of Reen and Richard Montgomery's children. Sharon married Wally Hunt. They had Tim, Jeff, Rick, Michelle, and Danny. For some reason, Michelle and Danny, you look like the only two that made it, and you're in that pool party that was at the apartment complex I lived in August of 1978. It looks like 1978 because Adam was almost a year old and Andrew was probably about 9 months old. So just looking at it from that standpoint. Now, for my dad's side of the family, Gertrude. Now, her main name was Butcher, but if you go back and really look, it was Swanson or Svensson. She married Adolf, and they married in a small town in Missouri, farm country. They lived in a log cabin with no running water, no electricity. They had my father in 1922, Jim Novak, and my aunt Norma was in 1923. Norma, by the way, was best friends with my mom Faye, and that's how they met. Norma married Ray Carter, and they had Karen. Karen also appears. Ray appears, and Norma appears in this. Karen had 2 children. Sorry, guys, you're not in it, but I thought you'd like to see your mom, your grandmother, your great-grandmother. They had Gertrude and Adolf had Ray. He married Willie. They had Tommy and Judy. Tommy made the cut. He's in there. As a baby, I don't see Judy anywhere. Sorry, sweetie, it doesn't look like you made it. Uncle Donnie was their last child, and he is in the filming. It looks like when he was in the Air Force. I know that they had 1 or 2 other children, but I don't believe they lived to adulthood. So that's the family, and I'm hoping to start running it, so you can see who's who. Now, a lot of the film is my brother Jim and I running around, because all the thing was hold still while we take your picture, and all of a sudden we're being told, move, it's a moving picture, move, move, move. And it was like, oh, okay, we're supposed to be moving. So we're moving around, and a lot of it was taken at holidays, at Christmas time. There's 2 Christmases. I couldn't tell you which one came first, which one came second. So hang on, try and be patient, and you're going to see parents and grandparents when they were very young. The first Christmas that is there. Maybe not. We're in Wisconsin. It is at Wisconsin Dells that we went to often. Scenery is there. Lake Dalton is there. There's my mom. I am on my mom's lap. So that is the 2 of us. And my dad must be filming, because he did film fast. So you have to watch closely sometimes to see stuff. Again, you can see how grainy the stuff is. That's my dad and me, and then a quick one of my brother. But now we're watching at the Dells. They used to have, at Wisconsin Dells, they used to have a dog that jumped across one of the cliffs back and forth. So that's what is there. My mom and me just flipped on the screen. I look to be maybe 2. There's my brother Jim looking out over the water, me running towards you. And this was a miniature train. That's me and my brother. A lot of the filming that you're going to see is my brother and me. But this was a miniature train that was a ride that you could go on. So we're waiting for more people. Yeah, okay, move, do something. So we're waving. I warned you, if you get sick to your stomach easily with the way it's filmed, that could happen with this very easily. Because I'm thinking we're on the train that I had to get out and push the train around to have it go back. It wasn't a circular track, it just went so far. And then the engineer got out, turned it around, and we came back the other way. Looks like more of the dells. There's the sand cliffs, the shales that are there. There's a lot of tourist boats out on Lake Dalton. That was probably my head. Um, and the shoreline. It is beautiful area, and now a lot of you have been there. And bouncing around and taking in the shoreline. There is Sharon and Reen. Um, there's a trailer there, so I'm not quite sure. That looked like maybe Karen. Yeah, there's Karen. That looked like me going by, running past the stairs. That's me walking forward. I'm not quite sure. That's Reen on the far left, and the other two people I think might have been her sister and her husband. Um, we're walking down the stairs, the house that we lived in. My mom, dad, Jim, and I. And then um, that's Sharon and me. Sharon's holding me up and, of course, waving, throwing kisses. But grandmother and Roy would go to Florida the day after Christmas and be back in time for our birthdays. So this looks like one of those Christmases. That was my mom pouring the coffee. Karen and I are dancing. Karen is in the white dress. There's my mom, Faye. That's Gertrude with the black and white. And there's Reen with the polka dot black and white. That's Ray um, and Willie. That was my dad's brother, Ray. Parents to Judy and Tommy. There's Aunt Norma, and that was a quick flip of her husband, was Ray also. There's my mom in the red dress. Karen doing handstands. And of course, I have to try it. And I didn't have quite the same luck. The legs would not go up in the air. Here comes my brother, Jim, eating whipped cream, it appears. And I finally make my handstand. But we won't show that. I'm getting some help from my grandfather Adolf to get my butt up there in the air. Again, that's Gertrude in the plaid, Reen in the polka dot. That's Adolf over there in that shirt. Here's Karen. This was a famous game. I was always going to poke your eye out. But you had this gun and you had chicken eggs that popped down when if you hit the target. And it was something my brother had gotten for Christmas. There's my brother Jim with the bear he got for Christmas, and of typical, my brother taking a picture with his brownie Kodak, yeah, that thing, and winding it up. So you can see this was, I'm guessing I'm 6 or 7, so it would have been the late 50s. That to me, I'm not sure, but it looks like a paint set. And, I wonder if that's how, yeah, look, there's the paint set. And those of you know that I'm an artist. So I wonder if that's how I got started. Always took the table. I have those white reindeers that you just saw. There's my brother Jim again with a board game that he got for Christmas. And this could be the same Christmas or a different Christmas. We'll be able to tell by what dresses Karen and I had on. The Christmas tree. We lived in a big old house. Yep, different Christmas. This looks like I might have been younger, but I'm not sure. There's Sharon in the red dress. Still the late 50s. Yeah, here we are. Wave, do something, move around. This is my mom, Faye, and me waving. Christmas cards, when we used to send Christmas cards, that was me, if you saw it quick, was with Santa Claus. And yes, I pulled his beard. There's Sharon in a beautiful red dress. We dressed up in fancy dresses for Christmas Day. That was Uncle Bill over there. That's Reen's brother. He worked for the railroad as a security guard and got caught in an accident and his hand was chopped off between two cars. So he worked security after that. That was my doll that I had that was as tall as I did. It had elastic straps on the feet that I could put over my feet and dance with it. So that looked like Christmas morning because I'm in pajamas and waving. I wish I knew what my mom had on that. That looked like a different dress I had. That could have been a different one. That's Adolf. My brother Jim was back behind there. Still can't read that. Anybody can read that? Here comes Gertrude. This is so sweet. Look at them. Gertrude and Adolf. That's Willie and Uncle Ray. Uncle Ray died very young. He had a heart condition, and he was wonderful. That was Uncle Ray that married Aunt Norma, and Aunt Norma next to her. Passing the mashed potatoes right now is Willie. It's Uncle Ray, and the other Uncle Ray. Uncle Ray with the white shirt is the one that is my father's brother. There's Karen, and we look like we're at the children's table. Yeah, that's the different dresses. So I don't know if that's Easter or just another Christmas. We have milk. Look at milk at Christmas. Sharon's still stuck at the kid table with us. There's Gertrude, and behind is Ray. That was Adolf. That was Ray married to Aunt Norma. Jim with a boat that he had gotten for Christmas. Aunt Norma was something she got for Christmas. And here we go. This is Drew's Lake. We love Drew's Lake. I felt like we spent our summers there. My mom would get us up really early in the morning. We would put our pajamas on, take our pajamas off, sorry, put our bathing suits on, put a robe on, and get in the car. Drive an hour up north Drew's Lake is still there, but it's a housing development around it. It was a farm, and the farmhouse, that's Sharon. The barn was a place you could go with a jukebox. They had ice cream, hot dogs, hamburgers. And the chicken coop is where you changed your clothes. But you put your car up almost on the beach, and there were willow trees. There's a raft out on it, but it was a really shallow lake. We built sand castles. That's Jim, my brother, and me building deep in construction. We often brought friends with us. That looks like my brother's friend George. And we would build elaborate sandcastles. Because we spent, I could be wrong, Sharon combing her hair again. Um, we spent, from what I remember, at least 2 or 3 days a week. My mom would bring us up there and we would spend all day at the lake. If I wasn't born in May, I would have swam before I walked. And Andrew did. This is, they rented out rowboats that you could take. There are motorized boats allowed on this lake. And that's Sharon and one of her girlfriends and 2 guys that they met at the lake. I almost said picked up, but they just met them at the lake. I don't know if we saw them often, but they're coming in from a rowboat ride on Drew's Lake. Okay, how do you get out? How do you get out of the boat? There we go. Get them out of the boat. That's me, robe, bathing suit, Drew's Lake, my brother behind me. This is a classic to me. That's George. No, no. Who do you think you're taking my stick away from? No, that's my stick. More of the lake. My brother running back and forth because Sharon and her girlfriend, they were dumping water on each other. We always had an inner tube with us too. It looks like they were having a water fight. Sharon coming up, brother splashing them. There's 5 years between Sharon's 5 years older than Jim, and Jim is 5 years older than I am. So with grandparents going to Florida every winter, Sharon stayed with us in my room. So we were brought up basically closer to sisters because there's 18 years that was between my mom and Sharon. Bouncing around, and I'm going to be asked shortly, of course, how far are you out? Are you too deep? No. Give you a kiss, Mom. I'm close enough, but I still had to come in closer, not to be that deep. Bouncing around in it. Come on, smile. I do some magic here and have the inner tube gone. But water was so warm because it was shallow, and we stayed there all summer, 2 or 3 times a week at least, I swear. I'm trying to see if this is more of Drew's Lake. As I told you, it's so grainy, it's hard to tell. No, this is, my brother Jim had a friend, and they had a motorboat. and they went for the day on the boat. I think the last name, Jim, when you watch this, was his last name Matthews, something like that. And they just went, the guys, so Jim and my dad Jim, and they went on the boat for the day. So my dad evidently is filming this with the boys jumping off and on the boat. I don't know what lake it's on. That's the friend's father. I know some of this is going to be boring, like, okay, Gail, some friend of Jim's who is playing around with the motor. Motorboat ride. There's that motor. I know, some of this is just like, really? But I warned you about this. There's pieces that are definitely worth watching. One of the famous ones is further along. I think I was 15, maybe 16, and we were staying at a lake up in Wisconsin. We took Grandma and Grandpa. There's my brother. Yeah, attitude? No. Um, Two sets of grandparents. Going back to that, my brother became confused when my mom would talk about them. So, trying to tell them apart, my grandmother, Gertrude, my father's mom, had red hair. So my mom said, well, let's call them Grandma and Grandpa Red, and her parents just Grandma and Grandpa. Problem was my brother Jim could not say red, but he could say blue. So they ended up as Grandma and Grandpa Blue, my father's parents. So they were with us at this lake up in Wisconsin, and a plane would come down, and two-seater. Oh, we're back to Jersey Lake again, and that's Uncle Ray. This Tommy's right there. There's Tommy, and I think that's me with Tommy. Tommy, there you are in the red. Building sandcastles. That's my mom. And my mom throwing the ball to Jim. My mom was such a big sports. She could do any kind of sports you can think of. She was really good. According to Uncle Monty, she was on, oh boy, the boys in our backyard in the pool. My mom was in, during World War II, a league of their own. She was a professional softball team because she was phenomenal at sports. And that's my brother Jim with the mask on and a blow up pool with two other boys. When we get to the plane part that I was talking about, I'll tell you about what happens, but I wanted to set that up a little bit. Of course, the hose has to come out. The house next door is it was a duplex house next door to us, and that's where my Uncle Ray, Willie, and Tommy and Judy lived. So they lived right next door. Okay, talk about being out of sync. This is 1978, because that is me, John, and that is Andrew. So I said that these are just way out of whack. It's in front of my parents' house. So the time frames of how they put this together Yeah, don't eat my nose. It's big enough. Yeah, I know. Some could be taken off. But Andrew was born in February, so he's a couple months old here, would be my guess, since it looks like it's warm out. And long hair at that point. Moving around, we finally got the motion part of this. There's my dad, Jim, holding Andrew. He loved his grandchildren. They all went after his glasses. Adam would do the same thing. Andrew called my dad Papa because he made popcorn. Oh, there's Adam. It's my mom, and that's Malia with the beer can in her hand. Malia, really? How old are you there? And you're drinking beer. Oh, well, looks like Adam had one too many. This again would be 1978 because Adam was born in September, so it would have been the following summer, is my guess. And that's with Faye, my mom. And I don't know why Adam and Malia were always drinking beer, and then when they were little, and if you tried to take it away, he was not happy. With Adam, it looks like my dad is holding him. It's so hard to see some of this. It's so dark. I really wish you could see it better. But the glasses. There's Malia drinking a beer. How many of you had little girl? She's getting all comfortable with her beer. Back to my dad and Adam. And this is what, a lot of this is going back and forth. Alright, this is the pool party. There's Claudia with Adam, me with Andrew, and watch for Michelle and Danny. Oop, I think that's Danny right there in the background because Michelle and Danny were there. That was Sharon, real quick. Sharon was in that part. Andrew swam before he could walk. He was born in February. I think this is August. That's Claudia's niece with Adam. She came with for the day. There's Malia and Claudia. The battle between Andrew and Adam. There's Danny. It looks like Michelle is down there. Michelle just came up the stairs and back in the pool. So that's about what you see of the two of them. Yeah, because this is Adam would have been like 11 months old about this point. There's Michelle and Claudia and Adam. Malia were wandering around the pool. Andrew used to walk around and throw over his keys in the pool when he started walking. That was his thing. Looks like a runaway. There's Sharon, the blonde, really quick, right to the side. And I think that's her sitting there, maybe. I know she was there because Michelle and Danny were there. That looks like maybe Sharon, back of her head. Not sure. You don't see any clear ones. Oh, Andrew's got a hold of my hair. I told on to him because always he'd take off swimming. I could see Andrew's legs kicking away, ready to take off. And he would. I would just, you know, stay underneath him, swim right along with him. You know, it's an apartment building complex, so there's other people here at the pool that wasn't family, but Mom and Dad were there too. Faye and Jim don't know where they're at during this. They would have been probably in the shade somewhere. But they're filming it. Either my mom or my dad is filming this. What's going to be crazy is we're going to go back to earlier after this, back to, much younger. Hey, Adam. Wave at him. There's Danny. Adam's working on something over there. Oh, he's got a brush or a comb. Yeah, we set up camp and basically took over the pool that day. Yeah, my husband is a White Sox fan, so yes, Andrew is getting a White Sox shirt put on, and time for a bottle. And he's getting handed off, it looks like, to my mom there. Claudia and Adam. There's Michelle on the side. Yeah, there's my mom holding Andrew with the bottle. There's Michelle next to me. And he's got that comb that he got a hold of. It was really, I think, a fun day that we had at that pool. Okay, totally switch time frame. This is back to the late 50s to my grandparents were very active in VFW. My grandmother Gertrude was the women's um, president of it, so we got to ride. They had an antique fire truck, so for the parades, we got to be the kids in the on the fire truck. What these people are doing is an egg toss. You toss an egg to somebody else and try not to have it break. And if egg yolk, all of you. So then they did beer in baby bottles. That's what they were doing. No idea who these people are. They were members of the VFW. Oh, this is the Dunes Hotel. Indiana Dunes used to have a really cool hotel. That's me, topless. Um, there's my mom having the waves coming and hit me. But Indiana Jones used to have a hotel. It was very, very rustic, and the a really nice restaurant that they had with it, and they had um, the forest preserve. The state would have sandcastle building things and nature hikes. That's Dr. Barry and Dr. Barry, who lived near us, and they came with us for the weekend. I think we had one room, and there's like bunk beds in there, and the bathroom was down the hall. That's Jim running around out there. It's me. It's my mom. She's not going to be happy. My dad's taking it, and of course, that was my brother. It was Jim. And that was Jeb, the Barry's son. That was Dr. and Dr. Barry. Here they come after their son Jeb. Not one towel, but two towels. We built sandcastles, and they were like the top heart specialist in Illinois. They moved to Rockford into this huge mansion. But yeah, it might look like we're on an ocean, but this is Lake Michigan at the Indiana Dunes. It's my mom in the black suit. She's gonna come up and give my dad a shove. That's me, burying my legs in the sand. My friend Jeb. They lived like a house down from us. We lived in these big old Victorian type houses. Um, comes my dad. Rarely do you see him on film, but occasionally my mom would get the camera away from him. There's my brother, and there's my dad, and that was the hotel. There's one building had the hotel in it, and another one had the restaurant. Really fresh fish, but all kinds of nature trails and a lot about conservation, which was really cool for the time frame. And we're somewhere else. I think it might be Drews Lake again. Can't tell yet. No, that's not Drews Lake. Trying to figure out where this is. This was in Wisconsin. This is the fishing cottages that we stayed at, that we went with my dad's parents, Gertrude and Adolf, my mom and dad and me, and we went up pretty far north into Wisconsin. And it's a fishing place. So people were out fishing early in the morning, late at night, and there was a this looks like it's Adolf and no, oh no, this was a friend that my dad made there. He's going to try and find a seatbelt to put on any moment. hmm Um, Across the lake, there was another resort that had a bar, and somebody loved the song "I'm Coming to Get You," ha 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 ha, and they played that all night long. Nightmares about that. Um, Graininess is just so tough to tell. Here's okay. Gertrude and Adolf, here they are. Gonna get, I love their hats. They've got their hats, everything in there. My mom's just fishing right off the dock. My mom wasn't real crazy about boats, so she would just sit on the dock. And here comes the seaplane. Now, the seaplane would come in and offer for whatever it was um, a fee to take you up and give you a ride of the area. So you got to see from the sky the resort you were staying at. And um, I was in the front seat next to the pilot because it was really only a two-seater, but there was space in the back. And my dad was in the back filming with the camera. Um, when the pilot strapped me in with a seatbelt, for some reason it didn't hook all the way. And as we were coming in, I fell out right there at that point where the water. We were only a couple feet above the water, but here's my grandmother, grandfather, my mom on the dock watching me fall out of a plane coming in. There was a snowstorm, it looked like, while I was talking about the plane. This would be my brother camping with the Boy Scouts. My dad was the Boy Scout leader, so they would take them to go out to get their badges. My mom had been the Cub Scout leader, um, and I was a Cub Scout for all intents and purposes because I got all the badges. But then I became a Girl Scout. But it looks like um, a Boy Scout camping trip from what I'm seeing. It looks like they were in tents, but there's a cabin up there. I don't know what's going on. They did have them go to church, it looks like, on Sunday. So it looks like the Boy Scout troop is going into wherever they were camping to a church. Yep, there we go. Presbyterian, maybe? I can't read it. Here's one of my favorite things are them coming off of the bus after the trip. And our first dog that we got her when I was 1, was Bridget. She lived to 18 years old and she had 3 sets of puppies. And I'm still frustrated and annoyed that we didn't keep a puppy from the last litter. I'm not quite sure what this is. It looks like it could be a field trip to see a plane. Uncle Donnie was in the Air Force, but it doesn't look like they're there to see him. It looks like a field trip to see a plane. And more people and more puppies. Kids getting off the bus, waiting to get their parents, running around, and puppies on top. Parents picking up kids, and puppy ghosts on top of the film. This is maybe Easter. I'm looking at, we have hats on, and that was me, and then my mom, and yeah, it looks like an Easter basket. That was my mom and Sharon working after me. Um, that would be Karen on the left, me on the right with a dark coat. And this looks like Easter. His brownie flash camera, and with my brother. Because we're outside, so I'm guessing Easter. Still looks like we have puppies or something over the top, so I'm not quite sure what that is. That's Uncle Donnie coming out, and that was Ring. People are coming out the door. Here's Gertrude, Willie, Ray, Aunt Normal, can't quite tell. Ooh, what's going on? Alright, this is me. This is why I'm thinking it was 1953. Because, oh my god, look what. Uncle Donnie, when you get to see this, look at you driving up in that car. Handsome dude gets out of this big red car. This is gotta be like 1953 because it doesn't look like I'm walking yet. Just guessing. And that's about when that's Grandma. I would not let go of fingers. I insisted on walking fingers. My birthday's in May. There's Umpa to quite a few of you. We're right to me, and he's sitting next to me. That's Sharon sticking out her tongue. There's a scene coming up with Wally that is amazing. The house that we lived in Maywood. So it was a big old house. It was a shame they put the shingles on. But here's running around, having motion. My brother, give your sister a kiss. Hold on to her. Run around, move. It's moving pictures. Come give me a kiss. Oops. Oops. Running around. Give your sister a kiss. Wave. I mean, we did all kinds of stuff on command. I wonder if we got, doggy treats or something for every time we did something that we were supposed to. That would be Uncle Donnie's hat. He was in the Air Force, and it would have been a time that he came home to visit. Uncle Donnie's 19 years older than I am, so he would have been about 20. This is the grammar school we went to. Everybody went there. We moved after my third grade. That's Jeb over to the side. but the grade school was half a block away. So some of my birthday parties, I just had everybody over for lunch because we had an hour for lunch, and we would just go and play and run around. I have a couple kids over for a kid birthday party. That's Jeb. That was the one that was at the Indian Dunes with. How much energy to have? I'm guessing that was the purse I got for my birthday. What do you think? Oh, waving first day of school was always a big thing, too. If this wasn't still my birthday. And my hair was poker straight. Somehow my mom got curls in the back. Here's those puppies. Here's the puppies that we were seeing of the double exposure. They were so cute. There was one that was honey colored. Bridget, our dog, was a very mixed breed, but she was terrier, was a big part of her. Wired haired terrier, and that honey was the one that I wanted to have. That's my brother. Look at the combination: black and white, and then my favorite was honey. And just puppies were so sweet. She had at least, there she is. There's Bridget. She lived to be 18. She was blind. She was just. She was such a good girl. She was such a good dog. But they want to get to their mommy, and she needed a rest. It was fun to see puppies being born and taking care of them. There she is out in the front. I don't know what this is. We're dressed up, so it might be Easter because there's no snow. I'm guessing maybe Easter. Um, it looks like confirmation for Sharon. That is Sharon on the right. And with the white gowns on, Sharon in the middle. Sharon was over to the far left. There she is. Alright, this is one of my favorites. Sharon and Wally were going to homecoming, prom, something. And they're all dressed up. At Grandma's house, we did not use the living room except for something like this. It was to look at only. Here comes Wally in, and the other date. They did a double date, and Wally was my other big brother. He was only 12 years older than I am, and he had 3 younger brothers, so he never had a sister besides me. Because they started dating when I was 4 or 5. Alright, this is so typical Wally. she's already given up and gone, and Wally's gonna try and get the bow on to get the wrist corsage on. And he's trying, yeah, put the hands up in the air, trying to figure out how do you put this? The hands up in the air. I don't know how to do this. Go to your mother. So, of course, they went to grandmother to put it on, but this is a scene after we moved. When I was 9, we moved to Broadview. And this was Christmas, and we had a really big ice storm. And this was a next door neighbor out ice skating on the sidewalk. That's the front of our house, and the house next door where he lived. Michael Parrish. Wow, that came out of nowhere. That's across the street. That brick wall that you saw really quick. My brother and I used to go out there and beat tennis ball against it. It was racquetball. This was things that my dad took. I don't know if he was trying to be artistic with the car going down the street with all the ice on the bushes and on the window. It's like, okay, I'm really glad to see this. Moving right along. And we time shifted from 1960 to 1978 again. That's me. It was John. Malia drinking beer again. Adam. Looking, where's mine? Arlotta. Claudia's sister. There's my mom. And Andrew, it looks like. Arlotta. Claudia's sister. Claudia, there's your mom. I forgot she was here, and your dad. The Pars. Comes my brother backing in. Comedian. Always a comedian. Hi, Dad. Here comes John. He learned that, okay, you gotta wave. Malia riding her tricycle. Or trying to. She's on grass, so forget that. Go for another beer. No, go back to the tricycle. Shouldn't drink and drive, sweetie. You know that beer. Bubble time. Big, huge bubbles. And what are you doing with a cigarette hanging on your mouth face? Big bubbles. Or a whole bunch of little bubbles. I'm hoping this narrative of what's going on, who's who, is helping a little bit. After a while, after you see who's who, you know when you see him again who it is, but I'm hoping that it helps a little bit. That's one of Claudia's good friends. Saying how you're supposed to do the bubbles. Here I come. I must be after Andrew's on with Malia on the swing set He doesn't look real thrilled being on there. Claudia directing something. Hello. Malia, what are you up to? No good? That would be typical. Oh, your puppy. Oh, Adam. That was my mom by Adam. Lovely pictures of their backyard. Malia and my mom. And Adam sleeping or lazing in the sun. Malia on swing set. Yeah, real cool daddy. My darling brother, when I went to Vegas, told me to roll, do roulette and do his birthday, which is 1947. So I'm in Vegas. I go look for a roulette wheel, and I notice they only go up to 36. So I'm thinking, well, maybe there's more roulette tables that go from 37 up. And after wandering around in the casino for a while, I realized, no, he's pulling my leg. So I went to a Keno machine and put in his birthday, my birthday, Andrew's birthday. And first machine I sit down at, and it started to grumble. And I thought, great, I broke it. First day in Vegas, and I break it. The lights started to flash, music started going, but nobody came. There was no eye in the sky. I went up to the room after they finally did come. Mike Parr, Claudia, me, and Andrew called my brother and said, the $400 I just won, you're not getting any of it. There's John. Trying to tell. The camera would hold still for a minute. Alright, Jimmy at about 10, playing softball on a picnic. I would say we were picnicking. We used to picnic a lot at Bemis Woods. It's my mom sitting on the ground, me running at the camera. I don't know who the other two kids are. Oh, it was Sharon, probably one of her friends. My mom whipping the popsicle out. Somebody else has a camera. My dad's holding me. My mom has a firm grip on my brother. And camping. So, tongue stuck out to my brother for telling me to play 47 on roulette when the wheel only goes up to 36. Even as an adult, he still is pulling big brother crap. Love you, Jim. There is Grandma Reen, and that's Roy, Uncle, and it's me running at the camera. That's Roy back there again, me coming forward. That looked okay. That's the two grandmas, Reen and Gertrude. Look at the cars. It's Sharon, my mom. Look at the car, Roy. And that appears to be me with a hose. I'm not sure yet. Could be Malia. It's looking like me, but it could be Malia. Oh, that's me. There's Bridget. Wow, Malia. Look at that. The comparison between you and me at the same age. Oh, God. We used to go out. I'd come in the house and they'd be like, "Were you eating in the garden?" This looks like California. Elaine, that could be very well you. It's gotta be you with Sharon. I think you guys went to Catalina when you're there. Yeah, that's you guys. Elaine, I'm guessing that's you with Sharon. That must be Brian. I never met Brian. Met Alan twice. Elaine, I've only met once so far, but we're planning a trip, so hopefully we'll get to see you again. Okay. There's Grandma Reen and going to Catalina. Grandma Reen took my brother with to California when he graduated from 8th grade. I was supposed to go after I graduated from 8th grade, and Grandma died in September of the year I started 8th grade. So I didn't get to go. Otherwise, I would have met Chewy Lane then too. This looks like another Christmas because we're in front of a tree. I see lights. I see some bright lights in my face. Not quite sure what's going on. By the way, Grandma, oh, there's Sharon and my brother and all the Christmas cards. And there's me with Santa, um, my mom Faye, my grandparents' Ring was the first one in our town that we lived in to have a television. This looks like another Christmas, different dress on. Wave, wave, wave. Yeah, we're waving. And we're dancing. And film change to looks like back in California. Capistrano? I've never been to Capistrano, but I'm guessing maybe. Oh. Alright, here comes, it appears to be Uncle Monty, Grandma, Alan, Brian, Elaine. So Alan did make it. I wasn't sure. Alan is sure in that part. Uncle Monty's in that little part. There's a couple more scenes I think with him in it. I think this could be, again, I don't know. Elaine, you're gonna have to tell us. This could be Uncle Monty's house in California. So I never got to go. Uncle Monty came to us often. Every time he was flying through anywhere, he would stop over Chicago. That's Serene and my brother Jim and Sharon. They could be in California. It's so sad when it's this fuzzy. It would be so nice to be able to see him clear. But that would be Grandma, Jim, and Sharon. I'm guessing. Could be Brian, but I'm guessing it's Jim. Always waving, pointing at things. And you're like, okay, what are you pointing at? Not quite sure what's going on. Sometimes you feel like you need new glasses after watching this. That it is, let's see. Oh, something's on fire. An Indian village, guessing California still. Although they did stuff like that for the Dells, but I'm guessing just by the film, it looks like still California. I don't know if that was Elaine or Alan. It flips so fast past people's faces, trying to identify who. I'm guessing Sharon, Grandma Reen, Elaine, and Alan. Well, it's palm trees, so it's still California. Love the cars. Check out the cars. I'm not quite sure what that sign says. It's a window? This says. So some of this stuff is just so
What am I seeing here? Well, we're in a pool and somebody's swimming. I would guess it would be Jim, unless it was Brian. I'm guessing that's Elaine. And that's it. What's this? Thank you for watching it. If you have questions, send me an email. G. Oh, well, wait, there's more, but it looks like it's starting over again. Because I think that's what happens. It starts back over and repeats. Yeah, this is starting over. If you have questions, um, I'll do what I can to try and help you with it. Give me an email at gfrankovich, my last name. It's Frank, Ovitch, with G for Gail, or my first initial, gfrankovich at yahoo.com. I'll try and answer questions that you might have with it. Um, we might have things to add to this along the line. I did play this at my father's wake. We did a memorial Irish wake kind of a thing. I did play this so that people that were there did see bits and pieces of it. But I want to try and make copies for, a bunch of the family so that you have this piece of crazy fuzzy pieces of our family, our ancestors at this point. I love you all, and I hope you appreciate what I at least have tried to do. Thank you.